Howdy, it's Matt here and welcome to my mini little desk. And on my desk, in fact, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring this camera up so you can see what's going on, is that this is the wings to the Wiesel XP slope soaring model. And this tip actually came from Patrice, so well done fellow, it's an absolute brilliant tip. And I'll show you what it is. In short, I want to glue these two wings together, but I want a brilliant and flawless seam on them when I go to glue them. So let me just put the camera back down here so you can see it okay. And all I've got is just an offcut scrap of the covering which I put on the other slope soaring wing. And what we're going to do is that we're going to line this up perfectly like so. And then what we're then going to do, we're going to heat that down. So I've got the iron over there to the right hand side. We're going to heat that up, and it doesn't matter which way you put this on, long as it covers the joint and it makes a good seal on it. And then once done, is that this was the inspirational moment, is that when you flip it back up the other way round, is that what we'll do is then put the glue in, but because we've got this tight seam on this side, we end up with a fantastic glue joint. So that's what I'm about to do. I am just going to quickly check to make sure that that's a really good nice seam all the way down there. So I'm going to lay that there, and I've got my iron on. Ooh, hot. And I'll probably hit the camera while I'm doing this, so let's just get this down and stuck on here. And again, it's not meant to be an amazing job, it's just meant to stick. So I'm just pressing down very lightly, because again I don't want to dislodge the joint, and of course the camera's in the way, so apologies if you see me knocking the camera around. And I think that's down the middle, so let's get that nicely stuck on there. And again, you don't want it ironed out all the way to the edges, because you're going to be peeling this off shortly, or obviously after you've been and glued it. Just get that down and stuck really well on there, like so. Just waiting for that just to tack down. And the thing which I found with this soldering iron is normally I need it up really quite high, and then it really does get the wrinkles out. So what looks bad quite now, with just leaving it on there for a few seconds, it will just straighten those out. Yeah, there we can go. We can see that middle's really straightened out now. So I'm super happy that there's a really good seam down the middle there. So I'm just going to leave that for a few seconds to cool down. And ow, that's hot. Maybe I need to leave it for a little bit longer. Okay, so I'm going to take the batteries off, and then what we're going to do, we're going to flip her over. So what we're now seeing, this was Pat's idea, is that now I can put some glue down the middle, but now when I bring it back at the top, I've got a seam to push against, and that will end up with a far superior join in here all the way across than what we would have got by putting them side by side. And again, if you notice, look closely here, you'll see that this wing has got a little bit of dihedral in it, hence why this side's up a touch. Now I quite actually like the idea of a little bit of dihedral in here. Yeah, the model won't be as fast as perhaps what it could be, but on the flip side it will mean that it straightens out much more quickly, which is, to be honest, a good idea, because I am going to rag the nuts off it on the flight line. So the tip is very simple. You line everything up here on the back side, put some heat up, use a bit of spare a bit of film, just iron that down, and I'm going to go back and give this one just a second coat just on the back, and then turn it over once it's cooled down, glue it down the middle, and then once you've finished, you just tear that off. Oh, by the way, before I go, if you're wondering what I'm going to glue this model with, goop glue. I'm sure you've heard me mention this loads and loads of times. So I'm just going to unscrew that lid, and let's go and do this for real. So I hope this comes out right on the camera. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fold her in half, and I'm going to put a nice good dose of goop glue all the way along this edge. Now this is where I should have maybe done some prior planning and got a bit of card to scrape this around, and unfortunately I don't have any cards, so it's going to have to be my finger, which is probably a better idea because I just felt there was a dry spot down there. And this glue glues this stuff fantastically well, and you can see I've already managed to break the seam down at the bottom, but maybe I shouldn't have pulled it around so tightly. And I'm just going to run a bit of glue down this side as well. And this thing is about this goop glue, plenty of haste where you're using it to get a really good finish. Just tack up that bottom piece and spread that out, and I've probably put far too much glue on here. But it's good stuff. I love it because it's a rubberized glue. It works absolutely brilliantly, and it's quite easy to get back off afterwards. So let's wipe that in the desk. Let's turn around. And now this is where that piece of... in fact, let me get the lid on there now. This is where that piece of soda film underneath comes into its own, is because I can now squidge these together, and we can see the glue coming out, which is a good sign. Means we got too much in there. I can live with that. I'm just gonna wipe some of this excess off. Stick it on the desk. I can sort the desk out later. The model's got a timer on it for this glue to set. Brilliant, and I'm happy with that. So what I'm now going to do, I'm just going to go and weight her up. I think I need to stick a battery down that side just to keep pressure on. And again, the excess which is coming out, looks like I've wasted quite a bit on there because I did put a bit too much glue, but better to be too much glue than too little. As my mate over on Ave on Newballs, hilarious guy. The bigger the gob, the better the job, as he would say. So, just running that all the way down. So I need to go and find some weights from somewhere. Oh, belter! Let's use a quadcopter. That would do the job. That's a nice seam there, and I'm super happy with that seam there as well. Actually, I don't need so much dihedral, so sorry camera, and I think I pushed the camera out of the way. So let me turn that around so you can see what's going on. So you'll now see that I've got a damn good joint. What am I out? A millimetre down there on the bottom? I'm happy with that. And if we look over the top, yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. So I'm just going to leave the quads, oh, that's always a good start. I'm just going to leave the quad sat on the top while it dries, and I'll now go and pick the mess off my desk because I've managed to get goop glue all over it, and that stuff absolutely reeks. So very, very simple little tip. I wish I came up with it, but no, it was Patrice, and I'll put a link to his YouTube channel underneath this video. So with that said, from myself, Matt, cheerios!